Alright guys, so we're going to go over how to do Egyptian semi-fast age 3 and fast champion axemen. Pretty nice build to know, particularly on the smaller maps and against the other civs which will field a lot of early counter infantry. Like, I'll actually go for early wood here. Norse, Celt, Roman in particular. If you're going to skip camels, you're not intending to play around them early. So you just want to invest in infantry and a really polished age 3 start. So we're going to open spears first. I mean, this is Oasis, so I will open spears first. I'm not going to sort of cheat and play 2 town center first Oasis because it just doesn't really work against people. Opening for the initial barracks. We can actually, if we're worried about having to play defensively early on here, you actually can park it next to your hunt. So it's totally up to you whether you want to have it next to the hunt, whether you want to have it at the front because you want to try and play off the front foot. Egypt's one of those civs where you probably won't win the spear rush unless you commit more heavily than your opponent to it resource-wise and unit count-wise. So that is something to keep in mind. Get some spears. This house. Found a couple of hunts already, so we can just go check out what he's doing. It's Oasis, so you can go do a couple of hunts before you actually move out with the spears. Other civs, you're going to want to move out quicker. Where's this hunt? Find that. It's going to be imperative at the moment. Where's this town center? So the AI is not going to do things quite like a player would, but pretend he's spawned here. We'll just park everything there. Might even delete a couple off. Go for one more spear and we'll leave it at that. That'll take us up to 5. Get in that house. I'm going to work on our age up now. Just sort of try and count the hunts. It's a real player be looking to go for either of these hunts. Let's say, oh no, there's one up the top there. So he actually can spear rush him. And he's got range. Bugger. Well, we have to be very smart with this. Just allow a bit of gather time. So against the player, it's probably a little bit easier to actually deal some real damage because they don't have those free units. Yeah, don't really want to commit to any more than about 5 spears. Over. And what you got to do is Egypt as well. Make sure that you've still got 4 or 5 villages on the food, rather than just 3, which you might go for on the other civs. And if you're at 25 population or 20 population, make sure you get a house before you finish this Temple of Ra, because it will actually give you another priestess, as long as you've got the population space. If you don't, you do miss out on that. And just really go towards trying to get this quick town center up. You might even want to go for one last house there. Go for the handsaw. Get it at the storehouse you're looking to empower. You might have to look at taking a second hunt. At this point, I've got a lot over here to take, so I'll just move on to that. In fact, everyone will have to move up there now. Try and keep tabs on what he's doing. We'll just beeline towards second town center here. A little bit slow on this transfer to the second hunt actually. That's not good at all. There we go. So just ignore that 10 seconds of no production time. That'd be fine. Just make sure he's not getting the dock. And I mean, if he is, just bring the spears. Like, if you can't take the fight, bring the spears back. Don't worry about it. It's not worth throwing the game away over. So we'll try and actually take advantage of this. Let's bring our guys back to defend it. You can start actually getting some axemen here. Now, unfortunately, I probably should have put this one tile away so I could really min-max the gathering value. The idea is going to be just to try and get a quick age 3 out here. As well as try and get there with a couple of barracks. Don't necessarily have to have the second barracks this early. But obviously I'm not going to be able to produce out of it straight away. We'll just work towards quick age 3. Try and get an early-ish armory here as well, because if you can fit it in, temper's going to be really useful. Just let your opponent come to you and just try and protect. You know, you probably have to defend this from raiders or Asabara, for instance, if you're up against Persia or Norse. Just want to try and get conditioning here. Really just useful. Try and clear this out, because I'll be on another hunt in a sec. Just maintain your double village production. You can sort of just choose to get enough axemen to really make sure you're not getting shoved. Same with spears. You can get spear champ if you want, or you can just sort of skip it. If you can, try and fit in either of these upgrades. Don't be afraid to gather a bit of extra gold as well when you're aging up, just because you're going to want to hit that axemen champion upgrade as quickly as you can. And that's probably a good time to look at temple is set. So start gathering your stone and your wood for your third town center now. And now really start to make sure you're making as many axemen as possible, because you know you've already got your age up on the way. To go on another hunt here. Always just try and defend your furthermost position that you've got villages from any raiding. Maybe even make sure you're trying to keep this all protected. If that's your, you know, at this point your only spot you're actually gathering any wood from. In fact, I'm making a bit of food here, so we'll go on the wood. Make the stone. Don't be afraid to get wheelbarrow and town watch at this point. It's a really nice upgrades to have. We should try and fit in temper here, because this will really work well with Axeman Champion, and so will Scale Mail. In fact, if I get that, if he's got towers, I can pretty much ignore them, which is really, really nice. Probably going to want to start on my hunt eco. Oop, I've actually skipped hunting dogs. Through all this, I probably should have either gotten it right at the start of the game. It's the most ideal time. What? Doesn't want to build because they've gotten on top of it now. Restart that production. Not really too much damage has been dealt. We can just keep going towards the third town center. Grab Temper and grab Axeman Champion as quickly as we can. protect wherever you're gathering gold from at all costs here, as well as possibly wherever you're gathering wood from. Maybe even get pickaxe around now, if not slightly earlier, if you can fit it in. And we should really be set up to get this third town centre and axemen champ pretty soon here. Just try to avoid being housed, not doing the greatest job of it. So we'll get third town centre. They're all relatively close together. Egypt really relishes in having a nice, tidy defensive position. I mean, our opponent, Celt, he's getting just infantry, which actually really plays well into this because he's still stuck in Age 2, so now he's going to be behind on upgrades very shortly, which is pretty much exactly how we want this game to go. So just keep pumping out axemen. At this point, as well, you might want to actually think, oh, I'm going to add a stables or two. Follow this up with some chariots, because you want to hit, now that we've got our tier 1 damage and armor upgrades, you know, push with axemen and follow it up with a ranged unit, so our opponent's really sort of blindsided by the fact that we've gone melee. So he's already gone woads, so don't have to worry so much about adding the chariots. Instead we can just keep pumping axes at this stage. So we'll go third barracks before the stables. Because camels, as nice as they are for the raiding element, we're just trying to focus on being able to push to win off a really solid engagement here. Got the 3 town centres producing, so we're going to be at 180 pop and 80 eco pop pretty soon, which is what we really want to aim for. Try and get as much hunting done as you can, especially if you do get hunting dogs a little bit later. Try to get in picker's gloves now. Just make sure they're on another goal. We'll send a axeman. Just go and scout that out because we haven't done a good job of that so far. Really starting to bank gold so we can actually go back on the other resources. Getting stone and wood from here to, you know, go for a really impressive transition to fortress play is really quite nice. So spam a fuckload of houses and try and push now that you've got axeman champion, you've got chariot support, you've pretty much got your third age up set up, all done, and you're looking to transition to either age 4 or close out the game from here. So axes with champion, they've got really nice splash. Got to try and find a way to use up a bit of this gold bank. Explore all this. So we'll focus down. We've really started to push in. So if we really want to make the best use of this, clear out as much of the static defense as you can. In fact, we can really double down on this, or look to follow it up with aggressive fort placement so your opponent really can't make it out of it from here. Keep streaming those units in. Keep adding the stables as well. Maybe look at getting some more armory, or start getting upgrades and druid support. I mean, priest support. Try not to lose everything here, and just back up your aggressive fort placement. Keep that unit printer pumping. And now that we've gone a little bit hot on the wood and stone income, we can really cut that down. get more fortresses around the place, prepare ourselves to go for fairly conventional late game Egypt. But at the same time, we've also really gotten ourselves a lot of value out of the early axemen push. In fact, I've actually probably gone a little bit high on eco. Can even start going for getting opponents' resources aggressively here. Using your chariots to try and figure out what your opponent's doing. Keep the pressure up with the axemen while you follow it up with some war elephants. So, I hope you like this little guide to playing Egypt pretty efficiently, teching up, and taking good advantage of axemen and chariots. Anything to really keep in mind with this sort of style is if your opponent's going for a lot of melee cavalry, you can add in camels. So don't be afraid to do that. Alternatively, you can skip producing so many axes in favor of getting more chariots as well, or getting a slightly quicker fortress or two to get your war alley production really roaring. So it's totally up to you how you want to play it. You'll be able to use your judgment better and better as time goes on. So yeah guys, just a bit of a guide to playing for Egyptian Quick 3 Town Center Champion Axes. Thanks for watching.